Are you ready?
Ready.
All right, let's go. Kevin here, Top 1 Financial Advisor and best-selling author. We are here to talk about the stock market. All right, we are here. Today is moving day, one of the most fun days of the year. So what is moving day? Moving day is the day that I look at all of my holdings. I look at mine, my wife's, the kids, and I look and see every single stock that we own, every single ETF that we own, and say, look, this needs to change, and we'll come back and reevaluate in June of 2023. Why do I do this? Number one, I am still a long-term investor, and what I like to do is say, let's buy something, let's not react and kind of get into the whole day-to-day of the market, and we'll come back 6 months later and decide, hey, this still works, we're going to continue to hold it, or this does not work, let's get rid of it and try and make some small adjustments. So I do this for every single account across the board. Now, today's video, I'll be talking about 4 moves I'll be making for the kids. I'll talk about how their portfolio and how their kind of financial lives are set up. And then for what I am doing personally, what you are going to see on public, which is a lot more money than the kids have, thankfully, I guess for me, we've already covered that inside the members only. So if you want to learn all the big serious moves, you definitely want to check that out, because my risk tolerance is probably closer to yours. These kids are 2 and 4. Okay, you see the baby that does the whole intro, even though she's a little older now, but she does the intro. She got 20 years before she's 20. Like, well, really 18 years before she's 20. But y'all get the point. Like, she's going to be fine. She can take way more risk than you can, and probably than I can, unless you're watching this and you're like, I don't know, 4 years old. Shout out to you if you are. Aside from all of that, though, this is what they are doing or what I'm doing for them. And then if you want to figure out all the moves that I am doing, then you want to make sure you check out our video inside the members only. That is out right now. So you probably want to watch it before tomorrow, because tomorrow is the last day of the year. It's the last trading day of the year. But also, if you're going to sell, then to sell and then claim this on your taxes as a loss, which you can do. It's called tax loss harvesting. You can reduce, in some cases, you can reduce your taxable income by up to $3,000 per year. Tomorrow is the last day to do that. It's the last trading day of 2022. You want to know what tax loss harvesting is and how it works? Did a video just like that, a video covering all that inside the members only too. So you want to make sure you check that out. You got to do it now because tomorrow's the last trading day. All right. So how the kids' accounts organized. So right now they have a 529 plan for college. That's just tax advantage now. It grows for them when they're ready to go to school. We can use that money and spend it on college. Now, if they don't go to school, there's actually a law that was just passed today. Remember we talked about the whole $1.7 trillion spending bill? Yeah. A part of that is that you can actually convert a 529 into, I believe it's a Roth IRA. I think it's on the benefit of the child. I need to go back and double check that. But that just got signed. So it's officially law and should go in effect, I think, in 2023. Some provisions in that will go in effect in 2024 and 2025. So if they don't go to school, there's still a backup mechanism to kind of convert that account into something else. So that's one for them. Number two, they have what's called a custodial account. The money becomes theirs at age 18. They can invest in whatever it is that we sit down and decide they want to invest in. Then when they turn 18, that money is theirs. They can do whatever they want with. In my mind right now, this is buying a house, starting a business, do whatever it is they want to do with it. It is not tax advantage. It can hurt them in terms of financial aid. I'm not overly concerned about that. We can get into that conversation later. But what are we doing for them? What are we buying and selling? So for baby boy, he's the oldest. He's 4. He currently owns index funds. We can do a full breakdown of all the things that they own. But 2 moves that we're going to make for him. Number one, I'm getting rid of Adobe. I can't do it no more. Okay, I like the way Adobe is organized. I like the way Adobe is a software company. For those that don't know, they do Photoshop and a bunch of other apps that are out there, and they're a dominant player in this space. They're also down well over 30% this year, and if you ask me, it's for no reason at all. Adobe should not be down the way that it is. I mean, Apple is only down in the teens. Microsoft is a little worse than that, but Adobe is far and away one of the worst tech stocks while being one of the best well-run companies. So we're getting rid of Adobe. I'm actually replacing Adobe with Caterpillar. That stock symbol is CAT. Caterpillar has done quite well. They're up 29% in the last 6 months. and up about 19% over the last year. The great thing about Caterpillar, at least in my mind, from all the information we have right now in December of 2022, is remember that the infrastructure bill that passed earlier this year, which feels like decades ago, at least I think it was this year, it's been a long year. But in either case, that infrastructure bill that passed, now that money is starting to be dispersed and will continue to be dispersed in 2023 and beyond. So what is one of the biggest beneficiaries of that? One of those is Caterpillar. So you want to keep an eye on that one. Again, they've already done well this year, up 19% in the last year, versus the negative 19 or 20% the entire S&P 500 is. They also pay a pretty solid dividend. So if you're in the dividend companies, that might be one that you want to add to your list. Next, we are getting rid of Thermo Fisher. Thermo Fisher is TMO. They are a science company. They are strange because TMO has had a wave. I feel like every other year they do incredibly well and they're trash, and do incredibly well and they're trash. I feel like now that I'm selling them, 2023 for TMO will be incredible. Just my luck. In either case, they can have it. What I am buying and replacing TMO with is SJM, that is Smuckers. I did an entire breakdown inside the members only. You definitely want to go and check that out if you want to learn more about why I really like this company. Other than the fact, I think I have it here, other than the fact they are up 26% in the last 6 months, up about 20% over the last year. The other thing is I don't think anybody really has the greatest of crystal balls for 2023. We do know interest rates are supposed to continue to rise. We hope that inflation continues to drop. We still don't know anything about Russia and Ukraine, and whatever other wild card is going to hit us in 2023. It's going to be something. I don't know what. What I do know, though, is there's a high likelihood that people are still going to eat jelly and jam and snacks. You can replace SJM with General Mills, GIS, if you choose to. That's a decent substitution that has also done well. People are still going to eat cereal. Recession or not, people are still going to eat cereal. Unfortunately, people may eat more cereal if that were to happen. But because I don't know and I don't have great footing on how, if we're going to go to a recession, if we do, is it going to be bad, or if we just avoid one altogether? I don't know. I literally do not know, and I've been reading everything I can, and nobody is 100% sure. However, I am more sure that Smuckers is at least going to be okay regardless of what happens with the stock market and with the economy, and they've already proven to do so in 2022. So we're buying that one. We'll come back in June of 2023 to see if we were accurate on that guess. Now, the next one here is for the baby girl that you see in the intros. She has a very similar holding to my son. So we are actually replacing NVIDIA for SJM. I've talked about I had to take that pause because a lot of us invest in NVIDIA. If you ask me, I don't think NVIDIA should be down as bad as it is. But you hurt my kids. You got to go NVIDIA. I'm sorry. And the baby loves jelly. She really does. So we are selling NVIDIA and going into SJM. It lost her a significant amount because she doesn't have as much money, and it just is what it is. I gotta get rid of it. It's holding down her entire portfolio. Do I believe that NVIDIA will be back one day? I absolutely do. Are we still going to use chips? I absolutely do. But NVIDIA, it lost far too much money for me. That's number one. But also NVIDIA just they lost so much in, I think it's the PC gaming sector, where they shrank, but AMD was fine. Then you had, I think it was Taiwan Semiconductor was doing okay compared to like Intel and others. It's just not a great environment and not a great time for me to feel comfortable buying, especially when I see other more boring companies do incredibly well. So sorry, NVIDIA, you gotta go. The baby don't like you no more. Okay, it's not working for us. So NVIDIA gets out, or is kicked out rather, and we are also getting rid of Morgan Stanley. Now, I've talked about this in the past. Is like in last year. We expected, everybody in the world, and especially me, expected financial companies and banks to do well in 2022. And it started off that way until we hit the Russia-Ukraine situation, and then interest rates, and then the threat and fear of recession, and financials just bit the dust. And for a while, she was fine with Morgan Stanley. She was doing quite well. but things did start to teeter off, so it's got to go. Could financials do well in 2023? I really don't know. They're supposed to do well and as interest rates rise, and interest rates are supposed to rise, but they don't do well if there is a recession. I don't know whether or not we're going to go into recession, so that one's still a question mark for me. And while it's a question mark, we're going to get rid of it. We'll come back to Morgan Stanley if things improve, but right now, getting rid of Morgan Stanley, and we're replacing it with Ulta Beauty, ULTA. They are up 20% in the last 6 months and up about 16% over the last year. The thing about Ulta Beauty is, one, they do have positive momentum going into 2023. And I think of all the moves I'm making, and I'm looking here at my list for the moves that I'm making for myself, as well as the moves I'm making for everybody else in the family, this is the quote-unquote worst. And I think this is the beginning of Ulta really kind of moving into 2023 and might outperform everything else that's on my list. That's a guess here because we don't have a crystal ball. The other thing too is Ulta is in a good position financially, but also in a good position should you go into a recession. Because for some odd reason, Ulta does well in recessions. They did incredibly well during the pandemic at certain points because it's like, look, I'm on Zoom, I'm gonna get all my beauty products, and I'm gonna look great on Zoom. I'm on not Zoom, but I do this stuff all the time, right? I don't necessarily wear makeup. However, people do, but especially in recessionary times, this company does do well. So if we go into a deep recession or any recession, Ulta will likely continue to do well. They tend to kind of fall into that consumer discretionary but also defensive category. And again, they're doing well now, and I don't really expect that to slow down in 2023. So those are the things that we are doing for the kids. We are getting rid of NVIDIA, Adobe, Thermo Fisher, which is TMO, and Morgan Stanley. And we're picking up SJM, which is Smuckers, Caterpillar, and Ulta. They are both getting some jelly in terms of Smuckers. And then my oldest son is getting Caterpillar, and then the daughter is getting Ulta. So those are the moves that we are making for 2023. Lastly, as I mentioned, we're gonna hold all of these. Now, this is not the entire portfolio. They have other stocks, Nike. They have a bunch of index funds where the majority of their money is. They both own Google, both own Apple, both own Berkshire Hathaway as well. But in either case, we're gonna hold these until June. And so I do my own portfolio. In case you're new, we'll hold all these until June. Come back, see what we were right on. If things are continue to do well, we're gonna continue to hold them. If they don't, we may consider getting rid of them. An example here is Berkshire Hathaway was added, I think, in 2021. If not, yeah, in 2021, I think we added Berkshire Hathaway for both of them. They're both green. Both my kids are making money on Berkshire Hathaway. We're keeping it. And it rolls over until June, and then we'll come back and make an evaluation there. So those are the stocks that we are making. If you want to learn more about the moves that I am making, as well as how you can navigate your tax situation or how you may want to consider navigating your tax situation, you got one day left to do it. So you want to make sure that you check out the members only to learn more about those. All right, that is it for me. I will talk to you later, and go weep in sorrow since my Sooners lost. And yeah. All right, I'll talk to you later. Bye.